Don't let me stray. Please guide my way onto the path of my deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, I'm calling your name. Oh, Allah.
Don't waste your life listening to music, buying CDs, downloading MP3s. You're smarter than that. You're better than that. Life is too short to waste your time idolizing your favorite rock bands and rap singers, you guys. Don't ask yourself how many songs have you memorized. Ask yourself how many surahs of the Quran have you memorized. And of course, before I ask you guys that, I ask that question to myself. You guys, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another edition of your favorite program, Let's Talk, of course, on your favorite channel, Huda TV. And like I said, we're talking about replacing music with the Quran. Can music and the Quran live simultaneously in the heart of the believer? Well, I don't think so, but we're going to ask my two respected guests as well as a studio audience, and we're also going to play some reports, some videos, and listen and read out your Facebook comments, inshallah. So stay tuned to Let's Talk. Of course, my first guest is a young man all the way from Southern California, Orange County, Torrance, Los Angeles rather. He's with us here in Cairo. He's a student at Al-Azhar University, Brother Ahmed. And Brother Ahmed, assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program. And you have an Indonesian name I'm very bad at pronouncing, so I want you to give us your full name, inshallah.
Yeah, my full name is Ahmed Honest Kashidi. Kashidi is spelled Qashidi.
Barakallahu feek. Thank you so much, brother. Of course, we have a special guest also from the University of Michigan via the AUC here in Cairo. We're very, very honored to have this brother who's studying Islamic studies. We're hoping to refute some of the things that Orientalists have been saying and claiming, false claims, of course, about Islam. Of course, I'm talking about Luqman Al-Amin. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Luqman.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Brother, I'm really looking forward to this topic, you guys. Music and the Quran, can they mix? Is it, I don't want to get, before I talk about the topic, actually, let me introduce the studio audience. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers, how are you? Thank you guys so much. I want you guys, inshallah, on this episode, whenever you have a question, just raise your hand, let me know. Whenever you have a comment, raise your hand, let me know. I'll go right to you, inshallah. Okay, you guys? On this episode, we're talking about music in the Quran. Does it mix in the believer's heart? You guys, I don't want to talk about if it's permissible or not permissible to listen to music and all this sort of thing, because I'm not a sheikh, okay? People, if they want that information, they can call Ask Huda and ask Dr. Salah or Sheikh Awesome. But I just want to find out, is it something beneficial to people to listen to music? Is it benefiting them? And it can, as a Muslim, can you advance your deen and your iman if you waste your time listening to this stuff? Brother Ahmed, you went to junior high school in the United States. You traveled away from there before you got to high school out of fear for all the fitna that you would face there. I think it was a good decision for you, brother. What is your opinion? Were the young Muslim youth in California, in Torrance, Los Angeles, Orange County, were they really obsessed and listening to music, and were they being influenced in a negative way because of music?
To my standpoint, I've seen my friends and whatnot, they'd be having these MP3s, all these CDs,
iPods and all this
stuff. Yeah, all that stuff. And they'd be listening to music, and it's a big influence. I mean, as in how they would be having conversations about the media, for example, in general. It'd also be, as in media, it would be like TV, also about music and whatnot, what's hip in today's music and everything. And yeah.
But it's actually, Brother Luqman as well, we do have a report that we're about to check out, but really, it's really about the culture that goes along with it. It's not just the music, it's the musicians. So now we then buy the magazines and we listen to, we watch the programs. What did this artist do? What did that artist do? What did this rock band do? Yes. What did this rap artist do now and say now? So it really becomes a whole culture that really bombards us.
Yes.
But before I get your comments on that, you guys, I want you guys at home as well to check out this report from Sheikh Jamal Al-Mekki talking about music in the Quran. It's very good, so stay tuned.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name.
Have you ever had a song stuck in your head? A dumb song that perhaps you don't even like, stuck in your head all day, and you are conscious and awake and you can't get it out of your head all day. This is while you're conscious and awake and you can't control it. So what about when you're in the stupors of death? Stupors meaning like a drunken state. If you're 100% awake and you can't control a song in your head, what makes you think you can control it when you're in the stupors of death? And a song that you love might come out. And so these songs, they roll off our tongues easily. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you some lyrics, all right? And if you can complete them, you can complete them out loud, or you can complete them internally, or, you know, whatever you like. We will not accuse you of knowing these songs, because some of them I had to call friends and got these lyrics from. Some of them I heard from commercials, and even in the newscast I would hear them. So if I say, who let the, you know the end. And if I say, oops, don't worry, I love you, you love me, born to be, you gotta fight for your right to, so embarrassing. You ain't nothing but a, ain't no mountain, I believe I can, you say I'm a dreamer, but we will, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out. How about some difficult ones? Under my umbrella. I've never heard this, but they told me you would know it. Okay, now for the gangsters. Been spending most of their lives living in a... Brothers are like... How about this one then? All right, all right, all right, all right. You know the rest of it? It's Outcast. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, complete the verses. وَمَنْ يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى. Excellent. وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمْ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. طيب وقال الرسول يا رب إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. Oh my Lord, the Prophet said, oh my Lord, truly my people have abandoned the Quran. وما من غائبة في السماء والأرض إلا في كتاب مبين. So what makes us think we will be able to say La ilaha illallah so easily? When music rolls off our tongue and lyrics rolls off our tongue so easily, and the Quran has to struggle to come out of our mouth. There's a doctor, and he's a righteous man, inshallah, we don't overpraise him. He said in his career in a Muslim land, 36 people died in front of him. 36 people, and he would tell them, say La ilaha illallah. And in his entire career, only one person was able to say La ilaha illallah. And he would say that now, I guarantee you can say it 1,000,000 times if you want to right now. And everyone thinks they will be able to say it. But out of 36, he only saw one person able to say La ilaha illallah. So test yourself. What rolls off of your tongue easily? When you have a close call or you drop something and it breaks, what is the first thing on your tongue? Do you say Bismillah, Subhanallah, La ilaha illallah, Astaghfirullah, or is it a bad word? Oh, sugar, or something else. Or do you start damning things because something happened or something broke? So if in this dunya, while you are 100% awake and conscious, the first thing that rolls out of your tongue is something bad or a bad word, what makes you think you can say La ilaha illallah and it will roll off your tongue easily? And the Prophet ﷺ said, Man kana akhiru kalamuhu fi dunya La ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. Whoever his last speech in this dunya is La ilaha illallah, he will enter into paradise. And so now, the whole point is not to make you think you will not be of those people. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal that all of us are those who say La ilaha illallah as their final word. But the point is to make us afraid of our bad deeds.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Welcome you guys back to Let's Talk. Brother Luqman, starting with you first. What can I get your thoughts and comments on that video?
Well, the video definitely was something that it was striking, because when you think about the number of lyrics that you remember from songs, I can remember as a child listening to music, and you can literally, we could play that game all day,
Yeah.
the game he was playing with the audience, and
Yeah.
without any type of stress, you can say those by heart. So
Yeah,
it's
of course.
pretty incredible.
But for myself, after accepting Islam, it's a long story, but let me just say I'm very against music. I don't listen to music. But I can complete all those things he said with the songs, because this is the power of pop culture, isn't it?
Yes.
Even if you're not wanting willingly to listen to music, because it's coming in at all angles, you memorize it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, subhanAllah. Brother Ahmed, were you able to complete the songs?
Yes.
I was able to complete the songs and not the surah, so I'll speak for myself first. But I don't even listen to music, but because I hear it's everywhere, it bombards you. So this is a big problem, I think. Brother Luqman, you accepted Islam, you said, I believe, earlier at the age of 16, before,
Yes.
Before we began this episode. So was music and listening to music a big part of your family life and a big part of your culture?
Yeah, it was definitely a big part of family life and culture. It was just part of the things that we did, just listen to music. You know, if you get in the car, you're going somewhere, you just turn the radio on.
Right, yeah.
It was just a normal thing.
So when you listen to music, do you feel like music was a positive influence in your life or a negative influence? And how difficult for you was it to stop listening to music once you became Muslim?
Well, for me, it wasn't necessarily, I didn't look at it as having a positive or negative influence. It was just something I just did.
Right.
The content I was always very conscious of the content that I listened to, though.
Right.
Like, so for me, once I became Muslim, a lot of the songs that
Right.
in my opinion, are quite vulgar and graphic.
Right.
So I stopped listening to those things. I equated to people put, expensive alarms on their cars and on their homes, but you have to protect what's going into your mind.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I don't want to pollute this. I don't want to pollute this mind that I have. So
Right.
when vulgarity comes, that's my alarm going off, and I change it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I used to listen to rap music. It was a big part of my life, okay? And after I accepted Islam, Brother Ahmed, it was hard for me to stop listening to it because I really liked it. But like Brother Luqman said, first of all, let's take out, I don't deny that there is an art in writing those lyrics. There is a skill. It's poetry to a rhythm. Mm-hmm. So I say now, hey, you guys that like rap music and like music, take that skill, take away the musical instruments, and use it in a positive way, and make nice content, and write lyrics and nasheeds and songs without music that can serve Islam, and use your skill. And we have a brother named Omar Dunlap that does that here on the channel. You guys have seen him. They've seen him on the programs. So we could take this music and change it into a positive thing, can't we?
Yes.
I think it's important to do that. But back in California, all the kids were listening to music, and this had a negative impact on them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was into music. I mean, like in the bus, like everywhere, the radio was on, everyone was singing and whatnot.
Right,
It was going on. It was everyone. Yeah.
And like, the pop culture, I think, is really killer, actually, because now you begin following the musician, the artist. What is he doing? What is she doing? What is she wearing? Who is she dating? Mm-hmm. And this, I think, is a grand waste of time. Right?
It's a huge fallacy. I mean, these what I call fake reality TV shows, and
yes,
people think that people live like this in real life. I'm like, it's incredibly consuming, and it's incredibly stupid.
Yeah, of course. And you know what I say too? I always say, be careful who we're looking up to. I don't deny that some of these musicians in all branches of music are great business people, and they're creative and innovative in a positive way. They made a lot of money. But how do they make the money? What are they selling? What is the content of what they're selling? This is what's bad. This is why I don't want to. I hope the youth don't look at them as role models. I even heard one time a rap musician say, I don't want to say his name to give him any publicity. He said, I don't read the Quran or any Islamic scriptures. So why am I now, as a Muslim, going to buy this man's CD and listen to support him? Mm-hmm. SubhanAllah, it's very strange. I hope the youth keep these things in mind. If I can go to the studio audience with you guys, and please give me your thoughts. Do you think, our question of the day is, can music and the Quran live in the heart of the Muslim at once? Is it possible?
No. There is no way. There is a very construct between the music and the Holy Quran. And for that, I alhamdulillah, I get married, alhamdulillah, 4 days ago.
Congratulations, brother.
And I thought about this, my wedding. Does I have to invite a great idol? I mean singer.
Right.
Does I have to make this? And what is the behind this? What the thing behind this? I thought about these things, the
disobedience to Allah,
the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And does I have the sins for myself, or all the sins of the audience or my guests?
Yes.
So that I exchange this, alhamdulillah, I remember the Holy Quranic verse in Surah Yunus in verse 58. قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون. In Allah's bounty and His mercy, in that they should rejoice. So that, alhamdulillah, I didn't make any music in my wedding and exchanged it with the Holy Quran, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, mashallah, great point. Thank you so much. If we can get the mic to Brother Omar there as well, regular. Let's talk. How are you, Brother Omar? Assalamu alaikum. What is your answer to our question? I know you're a young man. I believe you're 18 years old. What is the answer if I asked you the following question? Can music and the Quran, do they mix?
No, they won't.
Why not?
Because I have one mouth and one tongue.
Right. Okay. So would you say that music is drawing people away from Allah? It's pushing you away from the Deen?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. What about the young people in your school? Do you find them listening to music, and has this become quite popular?
Yeah.
And problematic? Okay.
Music
Okay.
and artists.
Thank you, Brother Omar. I appreciate it. If we could pass the mic back to the brother in the back. Go ahead, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Let's talk.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Actually, answering your question, I don't think so. Because, as our brother said, songs and Quran are different totally. And one of our great scholars said, Al-Quran wal-ghina لا يجتمعان في قلب امرئ مسلم إذا حضر أحدهما ذهب الآخر. And I practice that personally before I return to my teachings of our religion, Islam. I love hearing music very, very much. And I find myself, while hearing the Quran, listening to it, I find myself, I don't feel rest while hearing the Quran, subhanAllah. And after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides me to the straight path of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I find myself flee from just not listening, but hearing, because, you know, there's a great difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is that thing that you don't have the intention to hear.
You're forced to do it as if you're sitting somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
But listening is something that you do with your intention.
Yes.
You have the intention to listen to something. So I find myself totally flee from just hearing it, especially in the microbus and the transactions. I find myself saying to the driver, please stop it, or make it quiet for yourself. I don't want to hear that. And actually, the video that that we watched reminded me with a very great speech of one of our great scholars who said, his name is Imam Ibn Hajar. He one of our hadith of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam scholar. He said, لقد أجرى الله الكريم عادته بكرمه أن من عاش على شيء مات عليه ومن مات على شيء بعث عليه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have a habit, a regular thing, that the thing that you live and usually do in your day life, you will have to close your life by this thing. If you are usually reading the Quran, Allah is Kareem, Allah is subhanahu wa ta'ala generous. He will make it the end of your life. And think about ending your life with hearing the Quran or reciting it. This is the good end for you that we call the Husnul Khatimah. Man aasha ala shay'in mata alayh. If you live upon something as hearing the Quran, Allah will end your life by that. And vice versa. If you live your life by listening to music, Allah will end that. And the other part of our great Imam speaking is that وَمَنْ مَاتَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ بُعِثَ عَلَيْهِ. If you died on such a good thing as hearing the Quran or reciting it, in the last few minutes in your life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will resurrect you in the same thing. Just imagine that all people are coming for resurrection from their graves, and you only resurrect from your grave reciting the Quran. I think it's a very, very, very inspiring thing to avoid listening to such bad things and return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teachings and the Prophet teachings. May Allah make it easy for all of us.
Thank you, Brother Ahmed. You guys, Let's Talk is continuing to roll right along here. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned for more.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We're talking about music. Can it live and mix in the heart of the believer? Can music and the Quran live inside the same person? Can you listen to music and still be a practicing and pious Muslim? Does it have a positive or negative effect on you? Well, I know I'm a bit biased. I say no. I think it's very, very negative. You know, Brother Ahmed, some people say, you know what, yeah, I'm a musician. I make music. But I make music about positive things. I even talk about praying. You know, a friend of mine, a Muslim man, he said to me, I make rap songs and I talk about praying. So what's the problem? What is your opinion about that as a young person?
As a young person, the problem is that when music, as to say, when you're making positive things about it, it's still music. I mean, like, you get addicted to it, and
Right.
that addiction, it just pulls you away from time, and then it's
Yeah.
time consuming and whatnot. You could be doing more hasanats.
Yeah,
other
yeah.
than
That's the
that,
other
yeah.
thing, Brother Luqman, actually, time, a waste of time. So remind me to bring you back to that point. But I wanted to ask you the same question I just asked the brother. What is your answer? People say, hey, look, I'm making music, but it's about positive things. So what are you complaining about? I made a rap song about encouraging people to pray. So what's the problem?
Well, I mean, you know, truthfully, I'm not an expert, you know, as far as what that goes into. To me, I would just encourage the person to focus more so on memorizing the Quran, because to me, it's almost a tragedy when a person, you know, I know people who've been Muslim for years and years and years, possibly even their whole life. You say, well, how many surahs do you have memorized? You know, at the end of the day, when it comes down to just numbers, how many surahs do you know versus how many songs do you know? And the songs can be positive or negative, but at the end of the day, which one is going to get you higher and closer to your Lord? I think that's what you have to evaluate.
Great, excellent point. I tell people too, look, I don't know. I'm a regular guy like you. I don't know if this is halal or haram. I'm just talking about also from a time perspective. Let's talk about wasting time.
Yeah.
I always say, look, you know, I've heard a sheikh say this before also, look, shaitan may come to you and he can't get you to do a major sin, but he gets you to waste your time with music and soap operas. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, the way that people waste their time is just ridiculous. You only get one life, you know, and time goes by, you know,
Like
so
that.
quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it goes by very, very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're doing something productive when you're able to.
Yeah, of course. Excellent point. Thank you for that point, brother. Brother Ahmed, I want to go to you in the studio audience, inshallah. What about, we talked about productivity and time. Allah has given us, you know, health and life. So if we waste our time doing something that's frivolous and not productive like this, is this in itself a sin? Is this in a way that we become losers in the hereafter? Just because, hey, we're listening to music and maybe people say it's not a big deal, but what about the time, brother and sister, that you wasted? What do you think?
Yes, I think actually the Prophet ﷺ said in the sound hadith, لا تزول قدم عبد يوم القيامة حتى يسأل عن أربع. No one will go away from being at the front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the day of judgment before asking about four things. Two of them about time. Your time. How do you spend your time? Allah will ask you about that, especially the period of being youth, the shabab period. How did you spend your time? Allah will ask you about your health. How did you spend your health? How do you spend your time? Actually, if Allah asked you in the day of resurrection about your time, and you have the ability to say to him, I spend my youth time in listening to music while working. If you had the ability, so go, do what you want, listen to what you want. But if you don't have the ability to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say to him, I was listening to music, so stop listening to that, and instead of listening to music, listen to the Quran. Start reading the Quran. and you will find yourself very happy. Especially Allah said in the Quran, فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايْ فَلَا يَضِلْ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Whomsoever followed my guidance, my Quran, will not being astray. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي, which is the Quran. Whomsoever go away from my dhikr, from my speech, from my Quran, فَوَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا, will live a very, very dark life, a very, very serious and bad life. And you will find that personally, if you go astray in your life, you will find person who is listening to music regularly will not find quiet inside himself, because the verse is very clear. فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايْ فَلَا يَضِلْ وَلَا يَشْقَى وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. And the bad matter will not stop at that, because Allah said, وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. You will come in the day of judgment as a blind man. قال رب لما حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا. Why, Allah, you bring me in the day of resurrection a blind man? I was a seed man. I have a good eyes in the dunya life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها. You always heard our ayat and you neglect it. You refused to obey these verses, these clear verses, and insists to listen to music instead of listening to my ayat. So subhanallah, Allah said to him, كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها وكذلك اليوم تنسى. We will forget you. We will neglect you in this very serious day. May Allah make us from the good believers, from those who loves the Quran instead of listening to music.
SubhanAllah, that's an excellent point. You know, I once asked a Muslim man I know, and I asked him, why don't you pray regularly, brother? He said to me, I will. This is a good point, and you're right. I should pray every prayer, not just when I like. I said, okay, now what about music, brother? Why are you listening to music? He said to me, there's nothing wrong with that, and don't tell me there's anything wrong with music. Now you're going like to be an extremist. But I said, brother, do you see there's a relationship between the two? If you feel in your mind with the music, do you see what I mean? There must be a link between the two. You fill in your mind up with this music and this sort of talk and romance songs and these popular culture songs and love and all this, and then you left the prayer. So I believe that there is a relationship between the two. Brother Akram, would you agree with that?
I would agree.
What do you think, Brother Luqman? Is there a relationship between leaving the deen and not practicing as we should, even though you're still a Muslim, you know, but you've now become, you know, you went a little bit astray with this music and it keeps pulling you away?
Well, yeah, I think for sure, whatever you allow, it's something that I read, they say, what thoughts become things. So whatever you think about the most, and if you always constantly have these different ideas in your mind that you're allowing yourself to be submersed in because you're listening to music, you're watching all types of movies and different things, it becomes a part of your character. It does become you.
That's a great point. I asked a non-Muslim back home. This person told me, you know, I feel depressed. I said, you know what, you are listening to like the darkest type of heavy metal music. You know? Yeah. I said, I bet you if you stop listening to this kind of like really harsh heavy metal music, I keep talking about rap music, what about heavy metal music? With all these kind of darkness and images and negativity and all this weird stuff, do you think that'll have a positive effect? And this person agreed with me. And it helped them. I said, if you fill up your mind psychologically and you just bombard yourself with this stuff, it's going to manifest itself somehow. It comes out on you, right?
Yes.
So, subhanAllah. So I guess at the end of the day, we all agree that we should replace music in our lives with the Quran. But look, man, was music something that changed as you grew? I know when I was a teenager and young adult, I thought music was a really important part of my daily life. Mm-hmm. Then as I became Muslim, I had a really hard time breaking it. Finally, I made the intention, Allah took it away. I didn't listen to it anymore. Mm-hmm. But I also find as you become older and you mature a bit, when you hear these songs about love and all this kind of silly stuff, you look at the person listening to it and you kind of feel bad. You kind of think, this is silly. Do you feel like with time also, it's kind of with maturity, you look at music now from a different perspective?
Yes.
Being a husband now and being a practicing Muslim and all this sort of thing.
Yes, for sure. I believe that once you get older, things start to change. Like I can remember as a child, old people used to tell me, just keep on living. You know, they used to tell, I would have positions on certain things, and they would say, well, just keep on living. As you get older, you'll see how things change.
Yeah, right.
And that's something that I've noticed. Like when you look at the content and different things, you're like, man, I can't believe. And then, truthfully, the nature of how music has changed today.
What do you mean by that?
The content. the content of the material, where everyone, particularly urban music, everybody sells dope. Everybody
Yeah.
goes from a dope boy to this fabulous rap star because
with
he was-
jewelry and the most beautiful women you can ever see on your
It was like and all the women are strippers, and you know it's very vulgar. It's very
it's insulting to your intelligence.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah. You know what affected me? There was a man named Loon, a rapper, and he became Muslim, and now he changed his name to Amir. And I never met the man, but when I heard this man became Muslim, this was amazing to me, because this man was young and handsome, was a very good rap singer, and he had the most beautiful women around him. And I said, mashallah, I hope that this man affect many young people, because he left all this to say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, to grow a beard and to refrain from all this. This in itself is an amazing thing. I want to go to Brother Ahmed in the studio audience. You know, when I hear people listen to music, it's disappointing. But when I hear people listening to Arabic songs, it becomes irritating to me. You know why? I tell them, you know what I tell them? First of all, let me tell you, when I see a person in English, in the Middle East, listen to an English song, I tell them, فَهِمْ تَاجَ مِنْ كَلَامْ in Egyptian. I said, in Egyptian Arabic, did you understand any words from this? Because I do. But you're just like a donkey listening, but you didn't understand, number one. Number two, I said, you guys have the tongue of the Arabic language. Put it to better use. Don't listen to these songs. Brother Akbar, what is your advice?
I think it's just an imitating person. I think if you have nothing inside yourself, you will search for anyone to imitate him. If you don't have teachings or a moral in your inside yourself, if you don't have a clear way inside yourself to walk on, you will search for anyone to imitate. So I think this is a habit of animals and things like that. But for a human being, have a mind, special way of thinking, you must have a creed, you must have a way of to live on. So subhanallah, I just have a comment about what you have mentioned, which is separating our religion things to another things. As the man who said to you, I'm praying, but I want to listen to music. No. Our religion is a complete religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, ما فرطنا في الكتاب من شيء. We don't leave anything in your life but mentioning in the Quran. So, if you have anything that you have a trouble or have any strange thing, just read the Quran. Don't listen to music. You will not find the solution in hearing music or listening to music.
Yeah.
But just search in the Quran and ask your sheikhs about that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that in another verse. He said in the Quran, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Do you believe with some things in your religion and leave other things? It's a hypocrisy. This is the hypocrisy. To believe in something in your Quran, your religion, and disbelieve with other things. You say, I pray, but I listen to music. No, this is hypocrisy. You must be clear inside yourself. فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Whomsoever will do that, will take what he needs from the Quran and leave what he doesn't need. فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. He will have a shame in his life. ثم ويوم القيامة له عذاب أليم. فما جزاء ما يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في الحياة الدنيا ويوم القيامة يردون إلى أشد العذاب وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. Allah is watching you all over the day, in all minutes. So don't let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala see you committing such a thing, which is listening to music. May Allah make it easy for all of us.
Barakallahu feek. Thank you, Brother Akbar. You guys at home, stay tuned. We're going to read your Facebook comments, inshallah, in the next segment, so stay tuned.
With Allah, Allah, I'm calling your name.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Let's Talk, you guys. I promised you that we were going to check out your Facebook comments that you posted. We posted a question on Facebook which reads, do you think music and Quran can mix in a believer's hearts? Please share your thoughts. We have 34 shares, 82 likes, and 137 comments, inshallah. Brother Ahmed, Brother Luqman, we're going to check these comments out. I think that we all agree, it can't. Well, let's see what the viewers say, what they think about that. And while I wait for the brothers to get that on the screen here, I don't want to be harsh, because we all make mistakes. And I used to listen to music. As a Muslim, I became Muslim, and I couldn't stop listening to music. But I was always saying, Allah, kind of free me from this, get me out of it. And so, so we should be kind to our brothers when we give them advice, shouldn't we, Brother Ahmed?
Yeah.
What do you think, Brother Luqman? If you see, he's still Muslim, he's just making a mistake with the music.
Yeah, I mean, you have to allow people their own personal time to grow and also be flexible.
Great point.
Because at the end of the day, none of us have gotten our paradise tickets, and we may have an issue in another capacity.
Yes.
So we have to just be kind to each other and be patient in issues.
That's a great point, because I know when I was listening to music when I first became Muslim, and I said to myself, I wouldn't have appreciated someone to really come down on me and be harsh.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe you have a problem in another capacity.
Exactly.
Because sometimes as Muslims, we're really nice to non-Muslims, but then
Yes.
we're really harsh on each other.
Yes.
Right? So we have to be kind with each other and try to give people a sincere advice and advise ourselves first. If you guys are okay, let's take a look at these. Like I said on the Facebook, we posted a question. Do you think music and Quran can mix in a believer's heart? Please share your thoughts. Once we get those comments up on the screen, inshallah, I'll begin reading those, inshallah. Having said that, Brother Luqman, you're coming from the University of Michigan. You accepted Islam at the age of 16.
Yeah.
Are you from the state of Michigan?
Yeah, I'm from Michigan. Yeah.
So
From
growing
Detroit.
up, music was everywhere.
Yeah, Motown. Motown
still-
is.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to family functions and gatherings and stuff like this,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's there. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge part. It was a huge part of your culture.
Yes.
Yeah, subhanAllah. Yeah, that's interesting. And brother, coming from Los Angeles, the pop culture is so strong.
Yeah.
It reflects in the people's life itself, right? The way they dress, the way they talk.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, I buy a CD, you come out like on Tuesday, before Napster came out.
Yeah.
So what did this artist say about this artist? And you spend $20, get the CD.
Yeah.
And then I realized, wait a minute, these guys they're not even living what they're singing about. They're just making money off what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if they're living what they're singing about, it's bad things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, subhanAllah, yeah. So, okay, well, let's get these comments on the screen, inshallah. You guys, I'll begin to read these. Do you think music and Quran can mix in a believer's heart? Please share your thoughts. The first comment is from Bifro Baren, who says, I don't know where the true answer is. Good, that's an honest comment. Second comment from the same person. It's the same comment. Good question. Good answer, rather. Abdullahi Muhammad says no. Sister Fatima says absolutely not. Sister Khadija B. Yusuf says it's impossible. Sister Hiba Qatanani says Quran itself, but the Quran itself is a lovely melody, of course, but it's not music, but it sounds lovely, of course, yes. Nora says no. Uthman Abu Bakr says no. Hamza Abdurrahman Bello says mission impossible. Umar Idris says two opposites can never meet. Goldby Gook says no. That's why I don't even like nasheeds, because you do catch the nasheeds with instruments sometimes, and it's kind of like a bit tough there with some of them. Brother Ahmed Abdullah Muhammad says, put oil and water in a bottle and shake well. After a few seconds, you will get the result. Oil and water don't mix, right? So very good. Nafio says, eagerness to listen to music and not Quran cannot be in the same heart. That's a great point. If you're eager to listen to music, perhaps you're probably not eager to listen to Quran. Perhaps that's an excellent point. We have many more comments as well. So you guys always remember to support us on our Facebook, www.facebook.com/khuda.tv. Brother Ahmed, now you live in Cairo, you live in the Middle East, you live the last 4 years in Indonesia, right?
Yes.
So we can't just say music is in the West, because music is very, very strong here, and in Indonesia as well, right?
As well.
So you find many people listen to music and their pop culture there as well.
Lots.
Yeah, so you can't, we're all humans, not something you can run and hide from, Brother Luqman. Would you say the same? It's everywhere. Now that you're in Cairo, you see it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's no such thing as the what I call the Muslim utopia. I mean,
yes,
everywhere you go, you're going to deal with the same issues. That's why we have to make sure we're operating on the proper principles.
Yeah, right. There's no such thing as a Muslim utopia. And I learned that when I came here. I learned to be more patient with my brothers and realize that we're all just people.
Yeah.
So we're all prone to make mistakes, but we have to know how to get back to our foundations. Brother Ahmed, how you doing over there, brother? Does anybody else have any comments? I keep picking on Brother Ahmed. If anybody has any comments, go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
The songs, music, and Quran don't mix because music is the way pass the shaitan. It's begin to make you lose your time
Right.
and lose yourself.
Right.
Become some song word is encourage you to put a lot bad thing to do.
Yeah.
You think of love, another an opposite agenda, and you try to do as the singer do,
Right.
and
Right.
become the way you want your life. Copy his
Right. Right.
the artist life. So don't mix with that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and also kind of intellectually kind of impresses you because you begin to want to imitate the people you are listening to, and you don't really think creatively and freely anymore. I do think, like I said, though, there is an art to writing the lyrics, and perhaps if we can use it in a positive way, I think that's a good thing. Brother Ahmed, go ahead.
Yes. Actually, I've just remembered a situation that happened with one of our famous Sahaba, who was the son of Omar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Umar. One day he was walking in the street in a place, and he heard, and I insist to say hear, not listen.
Yeah, mashallah.
He heard a sound of music as a trumpet that we call it trumpet nowadays. He heard that, and he started putting his fingers inside his ears for not hearing that. And after passing this place, he asked the one who was with him. He said, "Are you still hearing this sound?" The man said to Abdullah ibn Umar, "No, the sound is stopped. We are away now." He get his fingers out of his ears and said to the man, "Do you know why I did that?" He said, "No, I don't know why you did that. You don't want to hear this sound." He said, "Because the Prophet ﷺ did the same in the same place." The Prophet ﷺ was walking in the same place, and why he heard the sound, when he heard the sound, he put his fingers. This is our role model. The Prophet ﷺ. He put his fingers inside his ears for not hearing this sound, the sound of music. And he said in the sound hadith that a time will come in this ummah that people will make many things that is haram, they will make it halal. That is forbidden, they will make it a lawful thing. Between these things is songs, hearing songs, the ghina, the songs. So it is basically haram, it's forbidden, but people will make it a lawful thing. So don't cheat yourself by saying it's a normal thing, it's a habit of many of people, persons beside me and around me. No, you must have your own way of living on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The matter is great, the matter is deen. How you will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how you will answer him while he is asking you.
Brother Ahmed, you did mention that at one point in your life you had listened to music and that you left it and you began following the Quran in this one. So how did you change from one to the other? How was it that problem? How was it hard for you to stop it?
Starting by renewing your intention and always fleeing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only thing that you, if you fear Him, everything you fear of, you will flee from, except Allah. If you fear Him, you will flee to Him. So starting by your intention and concentrating in making dua while you are in sujood or prostrating to Allah, saying to Him, "Oh Allah, make it easy for me to be away with these bad things that I know that it make you anger from me." Starting by good intention, sincerity inside yourself, and then asking Allah by dua, and then taking in your consideration that you must have a negative steps regarding being away of these things. Start by step by step. And if you have, if you feel by a hardness inside yourself being away of these things, you have the other thing of listening to nasheed, good nasheed,
Right.
for our famous good men who said that. And subhanallah, you will find it easily. I'll repeat a verse from the Quran. Allah said, إن يعلم الله في قلوبكم خيرا يؤتكم خيرا مما أخذ منكم. If Allah looks inside your heart and find good things inside you and good intention, He will give you the favor of good, best thing. No, I will not say good things instead of good things. No, He will give you the best things, inshallah. And try that having good intention and good situation with Allah, and you will find Him the generous, the most generous, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
One more question for you. Having said that, did it improve your deen and did it improve you as a person? Did you become a better Muslim and a better person when you left the music? Did you feel like now you could...
Wallahi, ya akhi, alhamdulillah, you will find a great separation and a great distinguished feeling from hearing the music. And I said previously that the verse is clear. فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايْ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Whomsoever follows my guidance and my teachings in the Quran will not feel any stray, will not feel any dark feelings or bad feelings. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Whomsoever go away of the dhikr, of the mention by reading the Quran and memorizing it, will live a very bad life. And wallahi, I felt it personally. I felt quietness and happiness, and as our brother mentioned in the ayah, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. You will not find any happiness inside yourself by disobeying Allah. No. If you disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and cheats yourself saying, I feel happy by listening. No. If you have a good feeling by committing sin, rapidly it will vanish and it will go away from your life. But obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and listening to His good words in the Quran will make you live in a long life happy.
SubhanAllah.
May Allah make it easy for all of us.
You know, sometimes I turn on the TV here in the Middle East, and I think the TV here is actually even worse than the States. I think this. And sometimes I'll see one of the channels that have like a beautiful Lebanese singer with their hair down and their chest out singing. And I ask the people around, like when I see them in the streets or at the coffee shops watching this, I say, can someone explain to me how we should be doing this, you know? But having said that, look, we all make mistakes. Let's end on we only have 2 minutes left. Let's end on a positive note. Brother Ahmed, I want you to give advice in just a couple of seconds here to the young people your age that are listening to music. Give them some advice in a positive way about how they could stop doing that and how it will improve their life, inshallah.
This goes for advice to me as well. So I would be saying, just take it slow, you know, step by step, you know, just start reading more of the Quran as repairing yourself from listening to music and whatnot. So just take it slow, you know.
Excellent point, step by step. But look, man, what would you say to a young Muslim who's, you know, he's Muslim, but he likes to listen to music? What's some positive words that we can reinforce him with?
To me, one of the things I would say is kind of like the analogy that I use is kind of like putting an alarm on your mind. You know, we spend, you know, in the U.S. we spend lots of money on alarms for home security, alarms for car security, you know, but you're going to just let any type of thing flow into your brain. So make sure that you're just as equally protective as to what you're putting inside of your mind.
Yeah, that's a great point, and we have to have that alarm so when we see something that's coming in bad, that we can stop it. But what is our foundation? How do we know if something is wrong or right?
Well, I mean, of course, by default, we're looking at the Quran and the Sunnah as the examples for us as believers. That's our criterion.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Brother Luqman. I appreciate your time. I look forward to, if you're available, to come back with us here on Let's Talk, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And Brother Ahmed as well. Thank you for your time. I look forward to having you again, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And you guys in the studio audience, thank you for your time. I certainly appreciate it. You guys at home, I certainly hope that you guys benefited from this conversation regarding music in the Quran. So until next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
thanks and I praise Him. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahil azim. How perfect you are, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Allah. I'm calling your name, Allah. I call you, I need you.